The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones who have kind of inspired you all along to like and share them on your favorite social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because if it's happening on the Treasure Coast, you'll probably hear about it on the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. Here she is right now, Sue Ellen Sanders.
Welcome to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. We're so glad you're here, and we have a room full of people here to talk about jobs on the Treasure Coast and opportunities for jobs on the Treasure Coast. We have Mary Murphy, who's here with Career Source of the Research Coast, which covers the 4-county area, right, Mary?
Tri-County, Indian River, St. Lucie, and Martin County.
Okay. Mitch Chlorophane, who also is just going to be a fly on the wall, he says, although I've never known him to be in a room and not speak up. So we'll see how that goes. And Caitlin Ballard, who is are you the PIO or the marketing director with the city of Fort Pierce? What is your official title now? I know you got a promotion.
Yes. My name is Caitlin Ballard. I'm the marketing communications manager here at the city of Fort Pierce.
And also joining us is Jake Sanders as my co-host. He's a marketing professional on the Treasure Coast. So we're here together in the room today to talk about the city of Fort Pierce job fair that's coming up on January 24th, which is just a couple weeks away, not even. And there's still plenty of time for people to get ready for us. Mary or Caitlin, who wants to start us off with talking about the job fair?
I can go, just
okay.
If you want. Yes, I'm the business navigator here with Career Source of Research Coast. This is our 9th annual collaboration with the city of Fort Pierce. It's the largest job fair that we hold annually on the Treasure Coast. We're anticipating up to 96 employers to register and about 20 to 30 community partners. So it's a really great community event. We've already got over 50 employers registered. So if you're listening and you have some jobs and you want to participate, by all means, go to our website, careersourcerc.com, and register. And if you're looking for a job, you go to that same website and you can sign up and get pre-registered so that you can get into the job fair faster.
Caitlin, how important is a job fair like this to moving on in the city of Fort Pierce?
Oh my gosh, the city of Fort Pierce, we love this annual event. It shows with the collaboration between the city of Fort Pierce, Career Source, the St. Lucie County Board of County Commissioners. It shows our commitment to fostering economic growth, supporting our local businesses, employers in the area, and providing residents with the tools and resources that they need for a successful career and development. So very exciting. We love this annual event. We're very happy to be a part of it and be able to contribute and help in the success in bringing employers and residents and local area jobs and employees.
So Career Source kind of serves as the matchmaker, so to speak, with doing the job fairs like this, and city of Fort Pierce. And they're not all the jobs, like you said, Caitlin, all the jobs aren't for the city of Fort Pierce. And so I don't want people to misconstrue that, although the city of Fort Pierce will be there too with their jobs. You just partner with Career Source to bring all these companies together, and getting close to 100 different businesses in a room for job seekers to be able to look around. And you could visit 2 of them, you could visit 96 of them, although that would be a tough 3 hours for you. Is invaluable to someone who is looking for a job or looking to change their job. So Mary, I know that you prepare job seekers. You don't just tell them to show up on January 24th or whenever you have a job fair and bluster through. How do you do that?
That's correct. We actually offer at Career Source, we're your local workforce board. So we're kind of a quasi-governmental agency where the job posting board where we post all of our jobs is called employflorida.com. A lot of people have registered on it if they've ever, especially during the pandemic, a lot of people had to apply for reemployment assistance and things like that. And so the state required them to register on our website. Again, employflorida.com, which is essentially, if you will, Indeed for the state of Florida. And Career Source are the centers where you can go and get help with writing your resume, doing a mock interview because maybe you haven't interviewed in 20 years, or maybe you haven't created a resume in 20 years because you've always just fell into jobs by, networking them, never had to really go through a more formal process. But as we know today, a lot of stuff is simplified through electronics. You apply online. Some of the old school rules apply, but there's a lot of new school rules, and we help you navigate and come together. And we have our staff here, and we have connections with these employers that will be attending the job fair. So say if you're a job fair attendee, you can find one of our staff members there that can really help point you in the right direction, give you some background about the employers that are there, what they're looking for, what they're attracted to in a job seeker so that they can really go and put their best foot forward. We also coach the employers on, setting proper expectations on, I constantly say to employers as well as to job seekers, they're like, I can't fill this position or I can't find a position. And I say, put yourself in the other person's shoes and look at what you're doing for an employer. Well, would you do that job, which is really hard for that wage? And they say, no. I say, well, maybe you need to raise your wage. And for a job seeker, it can be, if you were hiring someone and they walked in and acted like you just told me you did, would you hire them? And they're like, no, probably not. So don't do that again in your next interview. So these are coaching tools that we use. And if you're out there listening, ask those questions to yourself if you're trying to fill a position or if you're looking for a job and you haven't had success in some of your interviews, and really, turn that mirror inward and see if you don't change your luck. And if you need help with that, come see us.
Can you actually go ahead, Jake?
Oh, thanks. Mary, I think that's such an important thing to offer. The thing that I see so often is people who are incredibly talented folks and just don't have the ability to put that in a resume and explain what they can do. So having that third party help to go in and help you flesh out what the things people are looking for, or even what the language someone might be looking to use, right? So you guys do that by appointment, or can people walk in or work with you at your office?
Yes, in our offices, we have 3 centers, one located in each Indian River, Martin, and St. Lucie counties. In each office, we have a business navigator, someone like myself, who my job is primarily to working with employers to find out what their needs are, and then come back to and talk to our staff about the job seekers and the people walking in. We have recruiters that truly are the matchmaker because they work with both sides. And then we have frontline staff who are, and workshop instructors who are evaluating those resumes. I mean, I can give you an example of yesterday. My recruiter showed me a resume of a great candidate who's been having no luck. He's got a great resume and it's just not formatted properly. And he's not even getting interviews. And it's because he's 5 years out of college. He's an engineer, which is a great in-demand job, but he's got a lot of stuff that honestly nobody cares about. What they care about is your work history. What they care about is your accomplishments. I frequently use the example of the best resume out there in the world is a sports card, a sports trading card, like a baseball card. Because if I'm looking for a second baseman, I can take the baseball cards of everybody out there, and I have a budget. These people are too expensive. These people I can afford better. Now I have a job pool. This is exactly how an employer evaluates resumes when they get them. And so they're usually looking for targeted things. And you want to make sure that your resume has that thing on it. And you find that information out by coming to the job fair and speaking with the employers, but also reading their job descriptions. And they're going to tell you exactly what they're looking for. And you can look at their websites and you can kind of figure out exactly what they're looking for.
I noticed you also have workshops that you have that are set up that are other than individual counseling. People can go and along with whoever else is meeting at that point before a job fair, maybe practice interviewing or have somebody who's helping with your resume at a specific time. Because sometimes people who are looking for a job or looking for a different job are stuck in that inertia of, I don't even know where to start. And that's just a frustrating place to be in, because as an adult, you don't have anybody who tells you where to go, what to do, and when to do it. And that I would think that something like CareerSource would be good to kind of like provide that oversight.
It's exactly what we do. It's exactly what we do. We have, general workshops for resume and application preparation. We also have, our other frontline staff that can assist you with job searching. And there's also a workshop for job searching so that, you learn what the new protocols are for searching for jobs. A lot of people, employers are posting using social media platforms besides, LinkedIn is the general professional social media platform, but some are using, applications on, say TikTok or Snapchat to be super efficient, super immediate, depending on what they're looking for. And so I know. But we give job seekers tips on all of those things.
Yeah. Caitlin, what regarding the city of Fort Pierce, you have employees that you have jobs within the city of Fort Pierce that you're also advertising for, but how meaningful is it to get out to people in the city of Fort Pierce and to help them find their way in a time where you don't know whether you need to go online or you need to meet people in person or a combination of both? There's like Mary mentioned, you can go on LinkedIn, you could go on a lot of different things that are new and different, or you can go the old way. And sometimes getting the people together in a room to talk about it makes a big difference. How does that affect you with the city?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I think that this partnership is so invaluable with CareerSource. We're very excited and happy that we can partner with them annually to bring that option to the city of Fort Pierce. As you know, we're very active on social media and have a web presence when it comes to our social media sites, LinkedIn, Facebook, all that when it comes to jobs and getting the word out that way. But this is another tool to utilize an in-person job fair, which a lot of people still like to do. They still like to have that, face-to-face interaction. They like to meet the people and shake your hand and see who you're meeting. So we love the fact here at the city of Fort Pierce that we get to partner with CareerSource, because again, they bring all of their expertise. This is what they do. So we're able to help facilitate, help market, help in the sense of bringing it awareness and putting it out into the community and helping facilitate. But the fact that we get to partner with them and have them bring those expertise is amazing, because again, we get to reach another group or a different demographic of people than just online. We get that face-to-face, we get that personal interaction, and it's been very successful. It's a great event. We generally have a great turnout when it comes to, job seekers, employers, community resources that have tables. It honestly is a great event, and we're super excited to have it again. Hopefully it continues. But yeah, even again, to be able to reach even more people is very important to the city of Fort Pierce.
You said you've got nearly 100 employers that you expect to participate, and a pretty wide range of jobs. You just mentioned an engineer there. So could you give us an idea of like what the types of employers that will be participating, some of the employers that are going to be in Fort Pierce?
Sure. We've got national companies coming like Cleveland Clinic, which, has healthcare facilities throughout our region. You've got FedEx, who's got distribution centers. And then we've also got, the school boards, the local school boards, which are, in our region, are government agencies such as the city of Fort Pierce, St. Lucie County, Indian River County, Fort Pierce Utilities. They've all registered. They all have opportunities. There's a great dichotomy. It's lots of skilled trades, construction companies, and the jobs range from, entry level maintenance, facilities, housekeeping, all the way to, skilled nursing, doctors, engineers, advanced manufacturing positions, which are great jobs where you can have a lot of career advancement, and employers are now recognizing that they need to invest in training. And that's something that we, as a co-host with the city, are able to reach out to these employers and say, look, you've got, particularly a lot of, the residents in our region, sometimes, they're looking for better opportunities. And that is something that throughout the country, and particularly in our area, in our state, the governor's office is definitely promoting, training. And in these sectors that are considered high wage and high skill, which are like healthcare, advanced manufacturing, skilled trades, construction. And, regionally here, we've got a lot of positions in logistics and warehousing. So there's lots of opportunities there. And many of our nonprofit partners also have job opportunities and are creating training opportunities. They recognize that people that use their services, like the Treasure Coast Food Bank, they have a giant warehouse for where they've actually started training people to do the job. So some of the people that are taking advantage in United Against Poverty, some of their clients that are taking advantage of their services, because, maybe they lost their jobs through no fault of their own, and they're, having a trouble getting back into the workforce, are finding new career opportunities and pathways, even with those organizations. And then, they stay there for a short period of time, move on, and, go to work for, FedEx or some of the other larger companies that are here. TAMCO, which is a national they distribute lighting fixtures, but they also manufacture some of them. So we've got lots of great industry here. Aerospace is another one.
That, especially out by the airport, I know we have a lot of high skill, high wage manufacturing jobs that are more and more coming into our community every day. So, and if people are interested in that field, but don't have the training yet, there's good opportunities for them to get a foot in the door and then get that on the job training with some of your folks out at the career fair.
Absolutely. We work with employers. A lot of them are developing their own training plans within their facilities and their organizations. But then we also, as Career Source, we offer on-the-job training incentives to those employers to hire maybe someone that they wouldn't normally consider for a job through a wage reimbursement grant program that we have. But we also have registered apprenticeships. We partner with Kaiser University, as well as Treasure Coast Technical College and Indian River State College. So there's opportunities throughout our Tri-County region to get training assistance, whether it's for a classroom certification you're looking to get, or whether it's a job, an apprenticeship, which is a job where they're also going to give you some advanced training so that you can further your education. And those are great opportunities for employers to invest in their workforce, which creates loyalty and succession planning, and slows down the rate of turnover, because it was, as we know right now, over the past few years, there's been a lot of turnover, and it's simply people, they're chasing that dollar, and it's become, with inflation, it's become even more of a problem. So people are looking for better paying jobs, and it actually behooves the employer to invest in their workforce.
Caitlin, you mentioned resources that were also going to be at the job fair. And, are you talking about like education resources or nonprofits or resources that, because I know I've seen so many times in the past, sometimes when you volunteer for an organization, that gets your foot in the door. And then when a job becomes open, I mean, I know that I've done that. I used to be on the board of the Boys and Girls Club, and when they needed a marketing director, I was the first one to know that they were hiring for a marketing director. So, and it also gave me the knowledge through my volunteer work. I had the knowledge to be somebody that knew about the organization already without even having worked there. So are there opportunities like that at the fair?
So Mary could probably speak on this a little bit more than me, because she probably knows all the resources and organizations that will be there. But yeah, that is a component of the job fair. Along with the organizations that have jobs, there is a section of community resource tables. So things that are available to residents throughout the city, county, Treasure Coast, programs that, they might be interested in. And again, these are local organizations, so that they're to give people the information on, education programs, childcare programs, healthcare programs, different things that are available to them, which is another great part of this. It's like a one-stop shop. You have employers, you have resources, you have so many things. And to kind of touch back a little bit on what we were talking about earlier with different employers and things like that, there's also, it's a great opportunity for second chance employers will be there. If that's kind of the avenue that you need, those employers will be there. The city of Fort Pierce is considered a second chance employer. When Mary mentioned entry level all the way up, here at the city of Fort Pierce, we have openings for so many different departments and fields. So I encourage whatever, level entry you're looking to enter into the workforce, whether you are entry level or executive level, there's probably something there for you, because all of these organizations have multiple positions open in different fields.
Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, that's a great point, Caitlin. And another thing to look at, which is why it's a great community, so much has gone online. We're conducting this interview online, but the opportunity to get in front of 100 employers and also connect with those community partners, maybe Caitlin said, for healthcare, you've got the Hands Clinic, you've got, which deals with, people needing assistance for medical care. You've got the Early Learning Coalition, so people that might need some resources for childcare because they're getting a job, but now I need to get my kids into daycare. So all those folks are going to be there. And again, as I said, like United Against Poverty is there. They're a great employer as well as a service provider. So there's many different ways to connect with these folks. Another thing that I would say that's great about, and again, to Caitlin's point, is, at the city, they've got jobs from entry level to, like she said, maybe a city attorney they might have an opening for. But what's also good is getting in front of these employers and say, I'm a bookkeeper. Well, and sometimes it's like, I've been a bookkeeper for 20 years for a plumbing company. They don't recognize that almost all of these employers need a bookkeeper, someone with their skills. So they have to take themselves out of their comfort zone of what they think they know about themselves and see themselves in a different light, because just because you've been a bookkeeper only at a plumbing company doesn't mean you can't do it for a doctor's office, or you can't do it for for one of the municipalities, or for a construction company, or any other business that's out there, because your skills are transferable to different industries. So just because you've always had a career pathway in a particular sector doesn't mean you can't transition to something else. And so this gives them an opportunity to have those conversations and see themselves in a different light, sell themselves in a different light, and really, promote themselves, as well as the employers. A lot of times, like, I never thought of somebody to do that. And so that job seeker that has that skill is going to go there and shine to all these employers. They're like, oh, wow, I never even thought of it that way. So
Well,
it works both ways.
Also, some of the jobs that are out there, the employers that are out there that are at the job fair, maybe they don't need a bookkeeper that week, but they meet that person and they have the resume, and then 2 months later or 6 months later, their bookkeeper decides that they want to stay home with their kids and not continue to work, and all of a sudden they have that opening. And so they've already met, you've already left the good impression, they've already met you, they have your information. And especially if you're already employed and you're not in a situation where you need the employment right away. I love the fact that you're also doing this event from 10 to 1, which can cover lunch hours for people who are already employed. Is that the plan?
Absolutely. Yes, yeah, definitely. We do give also, for anybody that's a veteran out there, they do get actually priority of service, which is an early entry. So our veterans and their eligible spouses, they get to come into the job fair at 9:30, which is a nice bonus for them.
Mary, I know we've just touched upon some of the services that Career Source offers, and talking about a little bit about the workshops, and then of course the job fair, which again is January 24th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. with early entry for veterans. You can sign up for that online, but can people also come by the Career Resource, the Career Source offices? I know you have multiple offices that they might be able to visit.
Yes, our regular office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, except for Thursdays. We open an hour late, 9 to 5, and they can come by anytime and see us, and we can give them assistance. We have, if they need help applying online, we have a whole resource room full of computers and staff that can assist them with those things. If they want to make copies of their resumes because they ran out of ink at home, they can come and do that too. Or if they need to fax documents, or sometimes there's more complicated things. We can also set them up if they, maybe they don't have a quiet room at home because they do have children and they need to do a Zoom interview or an online interview. We can help set them up with those things too.
So you're so much more than just a matchmaker.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you provide the skills for both the job opportunities and the job seekers, and all different levels. I don't know why, but sometimes it feels like people think Career Source is only for blue collar workers, and that's not true at all. I mean,
No.
Caitlin, as you were talking about with the city of Fort Pierce as an example, there's so many different types of jobs.
Oh, yes. I mean, absolutely. We have so many different departments and areas of expertise. I mean, even if you go on our website, cityoffortpierce.com, and check out our available employment opportunities that we'll be showcasing at the job fair as well. We have everything from, accounting analysts, solid waste mechanics, police officers, executive assistants, animal control officers,
Parks and Rec.
I mean, everything. I know several of my coworkers that actually came to the job fair, found out about some of the opportunities here at the city of Fort Pierce, and applied and got the job. So it's really been even a success for the city of Fort Pierce. I know that countless other employers meet great candidates, very well qualified candidates or trainable candidates that end up working for them. So a huge variety, huge variety. I don't want people to think that it's any type of, oh, there's only these jobs or there's only these jobs. I mean, the range is huge. Like I said, anywhere from entry level to executive level and anywhere in between. So many different employer types when it comes to, you know, hospitality, healthcare, manufacturing, municipalities, retail, restaurants. There's so many opportunities. So if you're looking, or maybe you're looking to change, you know, your career or anything like that, I highly encourage you to swing by, see what's available to you in the area. I mean, not only the city of Fort Pierce, but, you know, basically St. Lucie County and the Treasure Coast. You know, there's so many opportunities. I encourage everyone to check it out, regardless of what level you're at in your career.
Well,
And if you want, I can just jump in here and give you some of the job titles for some of these are registered employers, and these are some of the positions that they'll be sourcing for. So in manufacturing, we've got compound plant operators and machine operators, licensed practical nurses, social workers, certified counselors, a CAD draftsman, a shop apprentice, production operators, police officers, corrections officers, bookkeepers, water treatment operators, utility services, sales representatives and administrative assistants, cashiers, line cooks, mechanical, electrical engineers, loaders and unloaders, packing and shipping, e-commerce, dispatchers. So there's a whole gamut of different collections officers, a paralegal. So to your point of wanting some of those advanced careers, we have them all.
that's awesome. And we talked a lot about how people could get involved if they want to go sign up for the job fair, but the employers, right? That's the other half of that match. How do they get involved with you, and what kind of other opportunities, because I know you guys are doing things all year long, other than the job fair on the 24th at the Fenn Center. Where can people go to get involved with you as an employer?
As I said, they can stop by. Our website is CareerSource RC, the letter R, Research Coast, RC.com. And they can go right on there and find out where our locations are throughout the region, where our 3 different career centers are in each of the locations, in each of our counties. And they can come in there. Employers, you know, we also have on our website, we do have direct contact information for our business services team for the employers, as well as the job seekers. Like I said, the locations are there. They can walk in. Our phone numbers are all posted there. And we tend to try and get back to people within 24 hours of them calling. Usually somebody gets hooked up with them right away. And so we can direct them to the best services that they need. Where we do all of our work, as I said, is employflorida.com, which is essentially Indeed for the state of Florida. It's a job posting form. And that's where we register our employers, we post their jobs, we refer job seekers to those positions. And it's great because the fact that we're working directly with every employer that registers on Employ Florida means we have a contact for our job seekers. We have a name of somebody at that business that we can try and hook them up with, that we can get additional information about, you know, the culture of the company. We're developing these relationships with our job seekers as well as with our employers so that we can help them come together and find a good fit for each other.
Well, let's speak to what people should be prepared with specifically going to apply for a job, whether it be at a job fair or whether it be just going in and making that phone call. What is the etiquette of applying for a job nowadays? Everything changes. Do you still dress like the job you want to get, or, you know, what are the rules?
You know, many businesses have gone to more of a business casual type of dress code, which is fine. And if that's what it is, that's what you should do. You know, definitely business professional, come to the job fair, dress. We always tell people dress for success, dress to impress. You know, you don't want super short skirts. You don't want, you know, men in shorts. You want to be, you know, you don't have to be in fancy. You don't need to be in a three-piece suit by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, a pair of khakis or, you know, clean, dark jeans, you know, everything clean. Presented, we're not going out night clubbing. So, you know, be easy on the makeup, but you want to look professional. You want to look clean. You want to, you know, represent yourself well, because that you see yourself in these organizations. Go to their websites ahead of time. Mitch, who's on here, our fly on the wall, is constantly sending out. You can visit our website, but he's constantly sending out information about the employers that are going to be there. There's a posting with the logos of many of the companies. So you can go, the job seekers can go ahead of time and look at who's going to be there, research the companies. And then the other thing, to your point, Sue Ellen, is make sure that they come with enough copies of their resume. So it definitely behooves them to come in and engage with us ahead of time so that we can review their resumes, make sure that they're, you know, targeting the right types of jobs that they're looking for, and that their resumes reflect all of the skills that they have, not just the jobs that they've done. You know, a lot of times a resume can be, you know, this is, I worked here and this is the stuff I did. Well, you know, I was a cashier. Well, I'm hiring cashiers. I know what cashiers do. Now, why are you the best cashier? That needs to be on your resume. So that's like an accomplishment. You know, were you recognized as employee of the month? You know, little things like that that might make a difference. Another example would be like, I'm an office assistant or a receptionist. Well, you've got a great work history, but were those offices like 5 people, or were they offices of like an insurance company with 20 agents, or a law firm with, you know, 5 lawyers or 20 lawyers? That job title might be receptionist, but the job is vastly different from each of those organizations. And you want to make sure that your resume reflects that, and not just you can answer a phone and make copies.
How do you show the personality and character traits on a resume that employees may be looking for, as far as your work ethic and your ability to deal with other people and things of that nature? Is there a way to do that without having a resume that is way beyond a baseball card and more like a deck of baseball cards?
The best way to create those bullet points, and again, a great thing to do would be to come take one of our workshops. But a great way to do that is actually print the job order that you're applying for. You know, go and this is the position I want to apply for. Print it and highlight all of the skills that the things that they are prioritizing, and make sure that those things are on your resume. You can, you know, use kind of the language that they're asking for, but that's how you want to structure your resume. That's just a kind of quick shortcut as to how to improve your resume. And the accomplishments in terms of, like, you know, if they're asking, you know, they may say in their job description, you know, reliable shows up. Well, you know, that's kind of subjective, but if you have a work history that's consistent, and, you know, long-term employment of 3 years, 5 years, 10 years with various organizations, that's going to show your work ethic to an employer if they're reading your resume right.
So it's important to have some of that information on it, but can you have multiple versions of a resume when you go to a job fair? I mean,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, that is, again, where if you visit our centers at CareerSource, we can help you with the discernment of creating those, because someone might have had 2 or 3 different careers. I mean, I started my career, went to college, and I used to work in television and broadcasting. But clearly that's not what I'm doing now. And I've been in one incarnation of my life, I was a banker. So, but in each of those experiences, I bring transferable skills. And so there's a different type of resume that we can also help people create, which is not just a basic chronological of these are my jobs and these are my accomplishments, the best things that I did in each of those jobs. It's called a functional style resume. And that is, these are all the great experience, and these are all the accomplishments that I've done. Like I've done a lot of event planning, believe it or not, but I've never had a job title or worked in a company where you would think that that was a skill set I would have. But I think depending on the job that I'm applying for, it might be crucial that it's on there. So in a functional style, you can actually group your accomplishments based on sort of like in an outline form, pick, customer service and public relations maybe. And another one might be bookkeeping and accounting. And another one could be whatever, event planning and client relations or business services. So there's different ways to make resumes nowadays, to your point of how have things changed. That's one of the ways things have changed. And so for a very diverse or versatile job seeker, that might be a better way to go. And a lot of times, sometimes you have employers or job seekers that may used to be entrepreneurs. So they work for themselves. And so they have different skill sets and experiences and a lot of great managerial skills that maybe need to be highlighted in a slightly different way because they're now going to go work for someone else.
Does it hurt in a job search if that employee has had a lot of working for themselves, or does it show that they know how to prioritize things and get things done? Is it a good or a bad thing?
It depends on, the individual. It always depends on the individual and how they structure what they're looking for in their life. Maybe I sold my business for a lot of money and now I want to go do something different, or, I can take a pay cut. They may have to kind of dumb down that resume to explain why they're going backwards in a career because, okay, I'm fine. I can manage my life. But when they're applying, if someone's just looking at that resume without speaking to that individual, again, a good reason to come see us, because then we can advocate for that person that's looking for something that you think, how many times do you hear, I'm not going to call them, they're overqualified. And as soon as they get my job, they'll leave for more money. That may not always be the case. And as an employer, you shoot yourself in the foot if you use that as a reason for not hiring the best person for the job, because you don't walk in their shoes and you don't live their life, and they might be perfectly happy. They want to come work with you because your job is less stress and they want less stress in their life. So you should always, put your best foot forward, whether you're the employer or the job seeker. And, I say go for what you want. And again, we can help you structure those things. But on the other hand, in the argument of somebody that's maybe used to run their own business, sometimes they do have a little bit tougher time because employers are like, okay, well, you ran a business and you're used to being in charge, but now you have to do it my way, not your way. And so that's something, and we have to coach people on those things.
And coach both the prospective employer and the prospective employee too.
Correct.
So it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity for the Treasure Coast in general at the City of Fort Pierce Job Fair. Again, I know it's January 24th from 10 to 1. And it's at the Havert Finn Auditorium, and you can sign up by going online to either it's posted with the City of Fort Pierce, and it's also posted with the Career Source. Jake, I know you've got a.
Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the dogs to stop barking. I know you have a couple of other things that you were going to mention that are going on. We just have a few more minutes. There's a few other things that are coming up on the Treasure Coast, and one of them is something near and dear to me, Treasure Coast Night to Shine. And they're still looking for volunteers. Speaking of putting things on your resume that will look good for later on. Do you have that information, Jake?
I do, and that Night to Shine event is a really cool event by the Tim Tebow Foundation. Do you know remind me what day the Night to Shine is that people are looking for?
It's February 10th.
February 10th. So they need Night to Shine is a prom that's made for special needs adults. It's a really cool event where all of these special needs adults can come together, have a really cool dance and fun adventure together. And they need buddies. They need people that are going to help make this event a night to remember for all of the special needs folks on the Treasure Coast. So it's such an important thing to be a part of. I know a lot of people that are involved in it, and I know it's very fulfilling for them. So,
And for every person who comes to the prom as a participant, they have to have at least one volunteer, sometimes two different volunteers to do it for them. So you can get in touch with Treasure Coast Night to Shine, and you can find them on social media too. And that's coming up. They're still
there's a lot of ways to get involved too, in the same ways that you'd be involved in a prom. So if you're someone that does hair or makeup or wants to help with limos or karaoke or something like that, this really it's an event where you can bring your talents to help that community, and it's a special night, and it's something really incredible to be a part of.
And I appreciate you sharing that. And then, if you're listening to this show and you have things to add, but you don't think that you want to do a whole show about it, you can still get in touch with WPSL. They'll pass your information on to me and Jake, and we'll add it towards the end of a regular show. Mary Murphy and Caitlin Ballard have been here talking about job opportunities on the Treasure Coast. And, of course, we're talking about one particular event that's coming up on January 24th. However, you have all year long the different job services and functions in the city of Fort Pierce. There's so many different departments and so many different opportunities. Caitlin, I know you also have different boards and committees that citizens can sit on too.
Oh my gosh, Sue Ellen, we have so much here at the city of Fort Pierce. When it comes to employment, boards, events, I highly encourage all of our residents, visitors, anyone interested to check out our website, cityoffortpierce.com. There's so much information that we put out that I don't think people realize. We have everything from boards and committees you can be on to our community calendar on our website. It shows all the free and open events to the public throughout our community. It's a powerhouse of information. We put out our city manager reports. We put out so much stuff. So I would encourage listeners to check out our website, cityoffortpierce.com, or follow us on social media where we post updates all the time.
And social media, has come so far as getting that information out. If you follow organizations like City of Fort Pierce, City of Port St. Lucie, the Career Source Research, if you follow them, then you'll be the first to know when something is coming up and find out more about it. You also, a lot of the organizations have different e-newsletters that they can send out to their clients or their customers. And if you like that on mailing lists, you could, again, get all the information you want. Mary, Research Coast, the Career Source of the Research Coast, covers the 3-county area, and you have offices in all 3 counties for prospective employees to go to help them find a job or help them get the education they need for a job. And also you can help identify trends, and you should go back to school or you go get training for this, because this type of job is really coming up in the world. So
yep, we have a full lots of different programs for businesses as well as job seekers to help with workforce development.
That's the important thing, is to get the two groups together eventually. It's really, we were talking at dinner the other night with another couple, and they were talking about how when we were growing up as young adults, people had 3 jobs in their entire career, if they did. And now it's not unusual to be changing jobs more frequently, or even changing careers. And I think the important thing is to have a plan. And then that creates a situation where, you know, you're circling back around to what's important in life. Jake, I appreciate you joining us today too, with your
Thanks
perspective.
for having me.
And Mary, again, with Career Source of the Research Coast. For some reason, that seems like a mouthful. I can imagine the person who answers your phone.
They probably just use the.
I answer my phone.
And Caitlin, City of Fort Pierce, so much that is going on. And Mitch, of course, who has helped bring us all together in this proverbial Zoom room. So I appreciate you all for being here. And again, if you have something that is going, if you're listening to this or you're watching it online, we're on, we have our own YouTube, WPSL YouTube TV. If you have something that's going on and you want to talk about it, especially if you're doing something that helps others, that's what we're looking for, is the nonprofit world or functions like this City of Fort Pierce Job Fair that is creating a better world in the end, because that's what our purpose is really on the radio show, to do these things and bring everybody together and share information. Thanks for joining me today, and thank you, Cliff, for running the show.
You've been listening to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. Guests and all. Archives can be found on YouTube. Go to WPSLTV.com and binge watch some Sue Ellen Sanders Show. Produced in the studios of WPSL. Heard on the weekend mornings about 7:05 Saturdays and Sundays on WPSL.